For decades, the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force has been a living museum, flying relics from before the 1979 revolution, F-14 Tomcats, F-4 Phantoms, and F-5 Tigers. These legendary jets, once symbols of cutting-edge technology and national pride, now serve as reminders of a bygone era. Each time they take to the skies, they echo the ambitions of the Shah's regime, but also the constraints imposed by history and geopolitics. These jets, once the pride of the Shah's Air Force, now highlight Iran's vulnerability. Their faded paint and aging frames are a stark contrast to the modern arsenals amassed by Iran's rivals, and every sortie is a testament to both ingenuity and desperation. Decades of sanctions have forced Iran to keep these American-made planes flying through reverse engineering and cannibalization, but their obsolescence is inescapable. Mechanics work tirelessly, often fabricating parts from scratch or salvaging components from grounded jets, just to keep a handful of aircraft operational. The technical skill is impressive, but the limitations are clear. In a region bristling with advanced fighters like Israel's F-35S and Gulf states' Typhoons and F-15S, Iran's old jets are hopelessly outmatched. The technological gap is widening, and every year the balance of power tilts further away from Tehran. The recent conflict with Israel exposed these deficiencies, making clear that Iran's Air Force is in urgent need of modernization. Combat drills and real-world engagements have underscored the risks of relying on outdated hardware in a rapidly evolving battlespace. Tehran's leadership knows that without a credible air force, its strategic depth and deterrence are compromised. The ability to project power and defend national interests is slipping away, and the pressure to act is mounting. The time for improvisation is over. Acquiring new fighters is now a matter of national survival. For Iran's pilots and planners, the stakes have never been higher, and the urgency is palpable in every briefing and every mission. This quest isn't just about hardware, it's about resetting Iran's defensive posture and signaling its intent to remain a regional power. Modernizing the Air Force is as much about national pride and sovereignty as it is about military capability. With the West off limits, Tehran's search for modern jets has turned decisively eastward, toward China's rising defense industry. The future of Iran's skies may soon be shaped not by American engineering but by new alliances and the shifting dynamics of global power. In October 2020, a pivotal moment arrived when the long-standing UN arms embargo on Iran officially expired, marking the end of years of international restrictions. This development, at least in theory, opened the door for Tehran to purchase advanced weapon systems and military technology from abroad for the first time in decades, sparking both hope and anxiety across the region. However, despite the embargo's end, powerful U.S. sanctions remained firmly in place, discouraging most Western and even some Asian arms manufacturers from doing business with Iran. As a result, Iran's realistic options for new suppliers were limited, with Russia and China emerging as the primary candidates. The urgency for acquiring new fighter jets reached a critical level after a brief but intense war with Israel. The conflict exposed glaring weaknesses in Iran's Air Force, revealing just how far behind it had fallen in terms of technology and capability. Israeli stealth aircraft, equipped with cutting-edge technology, struck Iranian targets with near impunity, evading detection and highlighting significant gaps in Iran's air defense network. In the aftermath, the need for a modern, multi-role fighter jet was no longer just a matter of prestige. It became an urgent national security imperative, essential for protecting Iranian airspace and deterring future attacks. Since the embargo was lifted, Iran's focus has been singular and determined: to find a partner willing to supply a capable 4.5 generation fighter jet, one that could help close the widening gap with its regional rivals and restore a sense of balance. Acquiring such advanced aircraft would not only strengthen Iran's defensive capabilities, but also send a clear message to adversaries that the country is ready to defend itself with modern technology. It would serve as a powerful deterrent, boosting morale within the military and projecting strength to both allies and enemies alike. With the embargo gone and the pressure mounting, Iran's search for a new fighter jet supplier became a race against time, one with enormous stakes for the future of the region. Enter China's Chengdu J-10C, the leading candidate to modernize Iran's Air Force. The J-10C is a 4.5 generation multi-role fighter, comparable to the latest F-16S and Typhoons, and a massive leap from Iran's current fleet. Its AESA radar can track multiple targets with precision and resist jamming, giving Iranian pilots a critical edge. An infrared search and track sensor allows stealthy detection of enemy aircraft. The J-10C's arsenal includes the PL-15 long-range missile, outranging most Western equivalents, and the agile PL-10 for dogfights. Design features like a diverterless supersonic inlet and radar-absorbent materials reduce its radar signature. Powered by the WS-10B engine, it's highly maneuverable and versatile. For Iran, the J-10C isn't just a replacement, it's a quantum leap in air combat capability. Its arrival would redefine Iran's potential in the skies. Iran's first hope for modernizing its aging air force was Russia's advanced Su-35 fighter jet. For years, Tehran saw the Su-35 as the key to regaining regional air superiority. But that deal ultimately collapsed, likely due to Russia's own urgent war needs in Ukraine, as well as intense diplomatic pressure from Israel and the United States, who were determined to prevent such a transfer. Despite Iranian payments and the delivery of Russian Yak-130 trainers, the Su-35S never arrived. This left Tehran not only frustrated but also increasingly doubtful of Moscow's reliability as a long-term partner. Iranian officials, who had counted on Russian support, now faced the reality that their air force would remain outmatched by regional rivals. During the recent conflict with Israel, Russia's support for Iran was limited to diplomatic statements and expressions of solidarity. There were no weapons, no aircraft, and no real military assistance. This lack of tangible support exposed the limits of the Russian-Iranian partnership. Disappointed and increasingly isolated, Iran was forced to look elsewhere. The only other power both able and willing to supply advanced fighter jets was China, whose growing military industry had already begun to attract attention worldwide. The Chinese J-10C quickly emerged as a ready and capable alternative. With its modern avionics, advanced radar, and proven combat performance, the J-10C offered Iran a chance to finally upgrade its air force and close the gap with its adversaries. But this was more than just a change of suppliers. The decision to turn to China marked a deeper strategic realignment for Iran, one that would have lasting consequences for the region's balance of power. Tehran recognized that China, with its vast industrial base, technological expertise, and global ambitions, might prove to be a far more dependable partner than Russia. China's ability to deliver advanced hardware and its willingness to challenge Western influence made it an attractive ally. The failed Su-35 deal became the catalyst for Iran's embrace of Beijing. What began as a setback soon turned into an opportunity to forge new ties and reshape Iran's military future. Now, China stands poised to reshape Iran's air force, providing not just aircraft but also training, technology, and a new strategic partnership that could alter the region's military landscape for years to come. The J-10C is now at the heart of this new partnership, symbolizing Iran's pivot to Beijing and the dawn of a new era in its air power ambitions. Iran's acquisition of the J-10C could fundamentally alter the Middle East's military balance. For decades, Israel and the Gulf states have enjoyed a qualitative military edge, flying the region's most advanced jets. The arrival of J-10Cs would challenge that edge for the first time in a generation. With AESA radar and PL-15 missiles, the J-10C could threaten Israel's F-15S and F-16S, forcing more complex and risky tactics. Gulf states would also face a far more capable Iranian adversary, shifting the regional power dynamic. The J-10C gives Iran a credible deterrent, raising the cost of any military action against it. While it won't grant air supremacy, it could achieve air denial, enough to rewrite the region's strategic map. The rules of the game are about to change. The J-10C's effectiveness depends on more than the jet itself, it's about the network. That's why Iran's interest in Chinese AWACS aircraft is so significant. AWACS planes act as airborne command centers, detecting threats far beyond ground radar's reach and coordinating air battles in real time. For Iran, with its vast and mountainous terrain, AWACS would eliminate blind spots and provide early warning of attacks. Combined with J-10Cs, AWACS would transform Iran's air force into a coordinated, modern fighting force. This synergy deeply worries Western planners, as it would create a resilient, multi-layered defense network. In short, the J-10C is the fist, but AWACS is the brain guiding it. News of Iran's negotiations for J-10Cs and AWACS has set off alarm bells in Washington and Tel Aviv. For Israel, the threat is acute. The J-10C's long-range missiles could endanger not just strike aircraft but vital support planes, complicating any potential preemptive strike. The U.S. is equally concerned for its forces and allies in the Gulf, as the J-10C's range and capabilities could embolden Iran and threaten American assets. This deal challenges America's role as the region's security guarantor, potentially forcing a costly military buildup. The J-10C, integrated with AWACS, could allow Iran to create an anti-access/area denial bubble, constraining U.S. and Israeli freedom of action. The strategic calculus is shifting, raising the risks and costs of any future conflict. For Washington and Tel Aviv, the stakes have never been higher. The J-10C sale is more than a business deal. It's a symbol of the deepening Beijing-Tehran alliance. For years, China has been Iran's economic lifeline, buying oil despite U.S. sanctions. This arms deal marks a new phase: explicit military and security cooperation. China has supplied Iran with missiles and drone tech before, but selling a frontline fighter is a major escalation. The deal fits the 25-year cooperation agreement signed in 2021, cementing security collaboration. For China, it strengthens a key partner, opens a new defense market, and challenges U.S. influence in the Middle East. For Iran, it means advanced technology, economic support, and diplomatic cover. The relationship transforms Iran from isolated pariah to a key player in an emerging anti-Western bloc. The Sino-Iranian axis is solidifying with profound implications for the region. Iran's potential acquisition of the J-10C marks a pivotal moment for the Middle East. If the deal goes through, it will end decades of uncontested air supremacy by the U.S. and its allies. The skies over the Gulf will become far more contested and dangerous. China must balance the benefits of arming Iran against the risk of angering Gulf partners, but momentum for the sale is strong. The consequences could include a new arms race and greater instability, as rivals rush to counter the Iranian threat. Iran's pursuit of the J-10C signals a shifting geopolitical landscape, where American influence is challenged and new alliances emerge. The arrival of the vigorous dragon in Iranian skies would fundamentally change the rules and the risks of the region's future.